There's something beautiful about the ordinary.
Thanks, Nick.
You're welcome. The miles no one sees, the quiet days when you show up anyway, the conversations that don't go viral but stay with you,
Another deep episode.
much like our conversations.
True.
We spend a lot of time chasing extraordinary, fast finishes, big goals, perfect branding. But sometimes what we really need is space to just be human.
Yeah,
Is that what you need?
I need it more than you know.
Oh my gosh.
Mhm.
To say something honest, to hear something real, that's what today's episode is about. It's a collaboration, not just between two podcasts, but between two ways of living: the drive to run scared and the courage to speak from a place that's still figuring it out. So whether you're grinding through training, stuck in your head, or simply trying to move forward, take this next hour as a reminder that your voice, your story, your effort matters, even if it feels ordinary.
Wow, that was a great monologue.
Cue that intro music.
Real quick, guys, just want to say welcome to episode 5 of Ordinary Voices. Also wanted to take a moment to say thank you to the guys at Ostrich Running. Nick and Jarrett are doing some really cool things over there. They're building a really cool brand and company and share some really cool stuff with their own podcast. So be sure to go over and check them out. I'll link their page down below. But without further ado, here's episode 5 of Ordinary Voices. I hope you enjoy.
Like I said, very, very happy that we're finally getting this scheduled. One thing with Ordinary Voices is we just like to talk about community and figure out things that are important for you guys and your running podcast. So I'd love to hear kind of the backstory of Ostrich Running and the podcast itself and what sparked the idea.
Heck yeah. So like Kobie mentioned, we have a podcast called Ostrich Running Podcast. My name is Nick Miraz. This is my co-host,
Jarrett, the Juice.
The Juice.
Mhm.
This podcast started out not intended to be a podcast that was going to be taken seriously.
Right.
I had this idea for the brand, and, as filmmakers, as creatives, I didn't want to just be pushing out content on the brand's Instagram page that was just Strava running. I wanted to do something a little bit more creative.
Right.
So I figured, hey, let's start a podcast so we can, have some clips to pull from, and let's just do conversational based. Yeah,
Mhm.
a lot of outreach. Just kind of gave the algorithm something new for this podcast to, or for this brand to have, media to output. So, the idea was just like, hey, let's just interview crazy runners and just talk about their journey. And, we can talk about running and life and, what running has done to change my life.
Right.
And in turn, his life, even though he's not a runner, but I'm trying to get him to be a runner. But
we've known each other forever.
Yes.
So like over 15 years,
Yeah.
like getting close to that.
Yeah, exactly.
So he started running these ultras. And I was wondering, why are you doing this? Like, why would anybody run over 25 miles?
Yeah.
Right. So It kind of started as an interview show. And then,
as an interview, he wanted to just do that. And I'm like trying to tell Jarrett, I'm not even the craziest that you think I'm the crazy, right? There are so many more people out there. And I'm like, let me just show you. And, first episode goes through, and then the second episode, and next thing you know, we're listening to this, and I'm listening to it on my long runs, and then I start getting more direct messages from people like, what a great show, what a great thing that you have going here, I love this. And
Sweet.
I remember coming in one day and I just told him, I'm like, I think we accidentally created something pretty good, and we need to keep doing it.
And the dynamic is so good because that I kind of represent what you runners hear at home.
Yeah.
From different people, right?
Yeah. Most people who have a household of runners or running, it's not an entire household. It's like one person. Maybe if you're lucky, you have, 2 people, right? But most households are split between this person with a dream and the other people there supporting it. And that's kind of what the show represents as well.
Right.
Yeah, that's awesome. I think all what you guys are doing is super cool. One thing we always touch on is like how relationships are formed. You said you guys have known each other for like 15 years. Tell me about that.
Yeah.
How did you guys meet each other?
Do you want to start?
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
Well, I had just gotten out of the Navy, and I was trying to get away from any kind of structure that the Navy had provided, right? Of strict scheduling. I needed to be as far away from government life as possible. And to me, that meant creating, right? So
Yeah.
I had the idea that I'm going to move to LA, and I'm going to do audio engineering, and I'm going to, go in the film industry. So I go to school in LA for audio engineering. And as I'm doing that, I kind of pick up production, film production. And I was dating a girl at the time who knew a mutual friend
Yeah, a
of
mutual friend of
Jarrett.
both of us.
And she's like, hey, my boyfriend is doing film, and I know this guy. Do you want to collaborate with them? And, we got together, and it was basically started out with music videos.
Right.
And we would just do music videos for anybody.
I was tired of my job, so we started a production company. I was like, me and another partner that was working there at the same time, we were tired of it. So we started a production company at the exact same time as Nick is going through that.
Yep.
And then,
That's
we
sick.
decided to team up and start shooting
and it
these
just
music.
never looked
stopped.
back.
Right, right.
And then we would do commercial work. They did documentary work. I ended up getting more heavily involved in post-production with bigger studios like Netflix and Fox and Warner Brothers. They
Cool.
continued on there, and we kind of split ways a little bit. And also, kind of what I'm really open about in my story is, I definitely struggled through addiction and PTSD issues post-military. So as I kind of started to distance myself from my personal relationships, I went further into this like dark spiral of drug abuse, depression. And then, we kind of separated for a few years. I guess, what did I go MIA for?
4 years?
Maybe 4 years. And
Yeah,
this was probably the worst 4 years out of that point. And I just didn't want to be around anybody. And then out of the blue,
like a guardian angel, Nick came back and ran back.
I found sobriety. I had my kids, and I reached out. I'm like, hey, Jarrett, back in Orange County. Do you want to come over to my kid's birthday?
Yeah,
and
slowly just.
And then now he hasn't
reconnected.
gotten rid of me.
Yep.
Again, I'm like the plague.
That's really cool, though, and congrats on getting through all that.
Thank you, man.
yeah.
I mean, for me, I think some of the strongest friendships and connections I've got, I live across the country from everyone I grew up with in Michigan, and there's people I go weeks at a time without talking to, or, it's a lot of text messages, not a lot of phone calls all the time, but then you see them in person for the first time in months, and it's like you picked up where you left
Never
off.
left.
So, yeah.
Yeah.
And 15 years later, you guys started a podcast, and
Yeah, like nothing ever happened.
Yeah, exactly. And we go full in, and just it's surprising. And I think that's like to kind of touch back on your question of, relationships, right? I think outside of like a familial relationship, right? Friends, good friends, you can do just that, right? Nobody's offended that you didn't talk to for however long, right? You just go right back into it.
You can always pick up where you left off. Right?
Exactly. And I think the other thing is having good friends who motivate you to challenge yourself, right? I think we have a great core group of friends who, we're always challenging each other. Every morning we're on calls and we're like, hey, well, what are you doing with this? What are you doing with that? And Jarrett's a big reason why the brand is where it is. And actually the reason why it actually started, because I was, just finishing up school, and I didn't know what I was going to do next. And, he always pushed me to find something I'm passionate about. And he's like, what are you passionate about? I'm like, I don't really know. And he's like, dude, you run all day long.
Right.
Why don't
you talk about runners. You're always discussing the next big
race
coming up.
Something like that.
So I'm like, yeah.
Yeah. He's like, why don't you run? And I think sometimes I still have like, you might find this with a lot of runners, like imposter syndrome. I don't Sometimes I don't really consider myself a runner, but I am a runner.
100%, you're a runner.
But yeah, like I just didn't consider myself a runner at that point, because there's a lot of people who put in decades in this, and I felt that was reserved for them. But like I said, just having a relationship with good friends, good people around you to push things, you never know what comes out of it. So I mean, had he not asked that question, Ostrich probably wouldn't even be around.
Yeah, well, I definitely want to touch more on the challenges and surrounding yourself with people that challenge you, but most importantly, why an ostrich?
Yeah, why an ostrich? I don't even know if I'm sure about that answer still.
Okay. Well, there's two ways I can answer this, right?
And
There's a business way.
Stuffed ostrich as well.
Yes,
right.
I also haven't unveiled the head ostrich.
I've been begging for him to put this up on the wall.
It's like a ceramic ostrich that looks like somebody hunted it and like trophied it, but it looks so realistic. I'm waiting. Once we get our set finished and ready to go, we will unveil the big ostrich head.
Yeah.
But from a business standpoint, right? A marketing standpoint, as I was in school, right? You're looking for something memorable, right? And I was seeing these other brands out there. There was another brand. It's called Run Steep, Get High, and it's like a ram, and we have Puma, we have all these brands that are, recognizable, right? And I was like, well, I need an animal. And I'm like, well, I'm not a fast runner. I'm not going to go put a cheetah, and I don't want to be like, oh yeah, this or that,
What represents you,
what
right?
represents me? And I'm like, well, what animal that runs fast and far represents what I'm going through now? And we did some research, and a lot of what happens, like just the ostrich came up, right? And I'm like, well, why does an ostrich run? And normally an ostrich is running when it feels threatened or scared, right? And I think that was just like a big point in my life, right? Run scared is our motto, right?
Yep.
So running scared means a lot of different things, right? Like, oh my gosh, if you're running for your life, you're probably going to have a PR, right? If you're truly running for your life for survival, you're going to probably have the fastest time you ever had. But it goes beyond that, right? As I mentioned, my struggles with alcohol and drug addiction, PTSD, right? There's a lot of things that, I fear going back to. And running is not really necessarily running scared away from that. It's running to find healing that I no longer have fear of those past things that, I feel like I would ever go back to. Right. But I also, during that time, faced a lot of challenges. I put myself in a lot of situations that were really scary, like, okay, I'm going to be sober. That was scary. Okay, I'm going to go to these meetings. That was scary.
Running through the fear,
right?
Yeah.
So I want to run scared. I want to run. If I'm running scared, it's because I put myself in a situation that's uncomfortable. And I think the best things happen when you're uncomfortable.
I also love the parallels that you found with the wings.
Yep.
So maybe taking an
Thank you for that.
Right. Mm-hmm. Taking an animal, right, that might not appear like an ostrich looks like it should be able to fly, right? And so, I mean, maybe you could say it better, but I guess how you explained it to me is, even though somebody might not look like a runner, or like you don't judge a book by its cover, like it's capable of so much more.
Yeah, and I looked at it as like an ostrich being a bird that can't fly. Would you say it's broken? And the answer is no. Just because it can't fly, it just adapts. And a lot of my experience comes from a brokenness, right? But I adapt and I find my other strengths, right? And I want the people that I talk to, the people that I share this story with, to understand that like we've all gone through a bunch of things, and majority of ultra runners and majority of runners are really facing a lot of trauma or have had traumas, right? That may have felt like it's broken us, right? But we're not done. We're not out of the fight, So that's what that was a
perfect representation of.
Yeah,
and that's the ostrich.
That's awesome. Yeah, that's like the whole reason I started Ordinary Voices is like you look at ostrich running and you see the stuffed ostriches and like the fun posts that you guys do and the music videos you've put out as well. But like I love bringing people on, and then you get to talk about the like the truth to it and why all this silliness when there's really some
Yeah.
seriousness behind it. So that's really
For
cool
sure.
what you guys are
I mean,
doing.
let's be honest too. Like the ostrich is a crazy animal, and all
Yeah.
these guys are crazy. Like they're all nuts.
It's very memorable. I bet you if you've ever seen an ostrich in your life, you could probably remember seeing an
Yeah.
ostrich.
You're like, how does this
Yeah.
thing survive anyway? Like, how does it survive in one of the worst areas with lions, all these
Yeah.
natural predators? And that's what they all represent. It's like, how are these guys
Still here.
Yeah. and doing these incredible things, right?
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
because a lot of times that, I think several times in a week, you and I will reminisce and you're like, how are you still alive, man?
Yeah, just
like it's wild.
you're right.
Yeah, I'm just myself. I mean, so I started running 5 years ago or so. So
Mhm.
I grew up playing competitive ice hockey in Michigan, as one does.
Heck yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's
when I got-
standard over there. I think if you didn't, you would be an oddball.
Yeah,
I mean, look at that smile for a professional hockey player, though. Must have
do
been pretty
have-
good.
do got a little lip there that got a puck to the face. It
Oh
split
man.
and-
But you still
and
have all your
healed over.
teeth. Because
I do.
I know it's serious.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I don't
Yeah.
have. I'm missing a lot of teeth, and not from ice hockey, but from my past life choices.
But I played that for like 18 years. From age 3 to 18 years old, and I got done playing not professionally, but like competitively. And
Yeah.
like, what do I do now? Like, what do I do? So I started running a little bit. Like I ran in high school for a season, and I'm like, I guess people run now. So I
Right.
started doing that a little bit, and then COVID hit, and I challenged myself to run 1 mile a day, and just kind of see how long I could do that. And I ended up doing it for like 162 days.
Hey, nice.
Nice.
And from there, I took it into a half marathon and have built up on that a little bit. I've actually got my first hundo in February that I'm training for right now.
What? Oh, so you're one of them?
Yeah.
Kobie, what am I going to
Newly.
do?
I'm a new addition to the crew.
I'm still running my 1 mile a day. Literally, we have the same story. I started playing soccer at 4, played my whole life, club, everything. And then, but I haven't got into wanting to do ultra.
He's a decent
But I
soccer
am
player.
running, because of them, I'm running every a mile a day. Like, that's all I want to do.
Yeah, and
but
that's
okay.
I was
Go
just
ahead.
gonna say that for a lot of people, like that is the step. Like there's so many people that don't do that. There's so many people who
Yeah.
can't run
Yeah.
a mile, and that's okay too. But I think some people come off and they're like, oh, I can only do a mile, or I can barely make it a mile. Like you can still make a mile. Like you can still
a mile's
do it.
still tough.
Yeah,
It is 100%.
I play soccer. Yeah, I play soccer a couple times a week, and it's still so painful just to run around that track 4 times in a row.
Yeah.
He complains the whole time.
Yeah.
I honestly, and all of our, like most of these runners, right? I mean, yeah, we got your elites or whatever been running, right? But a lot of us who started, right? That mile was crazy, dude. Like I can still reminisce on that treadmill run being so out of breath and finally hitting a mile and a half. And I'm like, dude, how does anybody even go further than this, right? So like fast forward to here we are, and it's a lot of that stuff in between, right? And that's also like the other thing I wanted with the brand, right? Like I felt so intimidated going down this whole world of running, right? This running culture is so intimidating. Like this is
For
what we
sure.
have for our PR. You need this or that, right? I wanted Ostrich to be like, man, this sucks.
Right.
I am not fast, but I know how to grind it out, right? And
Yeah.
I think that was the important thing, is that like you hear it a lot in the running world, right? Laying brick by brick, right? And I
Oh,
just remember, okay, set that goal, mile after mile after mile, and finally just increasing, right? So my question actually is, what's the furthest distance you've gone?
To this point, it's been a marathon. So whatever that is.
So the
26
marathon to 100
And Kobie, that's
miles.
good enough. That's
Yeah.
good enough.
Don't
Just
let him talk you. That's
don't
what we
go
call
down
the
this
juice.
road. Don't follow in the
Come to the dark
footsteps.
side. It's okay.
When you'll be running across a whole country soon. Don't do it.
Well, I will say what I found is, so I did a marathon with some buddies, and we pretty much just raw dogged it. Like none of us trained for it. We
Right.
we were at a brewery one night, and someone's like, "I just signed up for a trail marathon. You want to do it?" And I just was like, "Yeah, sure." So we did it in Moab, Utah. So there was some elevation there.
Bro,
Um,
what?
Yeah.
So that was cool. But then after that, I'm like, all right, I don't really know if I want to do like a road marathon. Honestly,
Yeah.
kind of because the training block seems really scary. Like I do things very intentionally. If I do a marathon on the road, like I would like to put in my best effort and see how fast I can give it.
Yeah.
With an ultra, honestly, I've enjoyed every mile so far. Like it's not like it's not easy. Like I'm still
Right.
doing at the very
Yeah.
beginning of like mid of my block. I'll peak out at 40 miles this week. Um,
Whew.
which is a lot, but like every mile, honestly, I'm enjoying for the most part. Like it's conversational pace. It doesn't exhaust me by the end of it. Like
Yeah.
a 15-mile speed workout on the road, like that sounds freaking terrible.
Wow.
It's
I never
honestly,
thought about it like that.
well, the other thing I noticed, right, going from road marathons to ultra marathons, right? I think when I did my first, like when I finished a 50, right, I was more wrecked after a marathon, a road marathon, than I was a 50 miler.
I
Dude,
believe it.
that
Yeah.
is insane. Like, so when
Wow,
I
I didn't
was
know that.
doing these road marathons, like, I'm like, how does somebody do another one after this? And it's because you just have no reason to slow down. It's like
Yeah.
the path is so, fair that like, no elevation gain. There's nothing to trip you up. There's no technical trail. You're just booking it, man. And eventually you just start feeling that effect on your body. But yeah, it's ultra and trails, it's the hippie,
Yeah.
side of running, and it's peace, love, man.
I didn't know this was going to be a tag team today. You guys set me up.
Why do you think I'm so excited?
Yeah.
I specifically didn't tell you a lot.
Right.
Just so you knew.
You just needed to be here on Thursday. That
Exactly.
Right.
the only
Just be here
direction.
on Thursday. Yep.
Wow.
And that's
I
your
mean-
own fault because he doesn't like to know any more, any less. Just let me show up, tell me where to go, when to be.
Yeah, that's true. That's very true.
Just be in the moment. Yeah.
Right,
That's
right.
good. No, I mean, yeah, I've only been exposed to running community for a couple years, but it's pretty crazy.
Yeah.
And I think so. What I'm curious about, and I'll open it up to, I guess, more than just running, so we can get the juice involved as well.
Yeah.
With just like any competitive sport, what's a standout experience that you guys have had? Like something that you look back on or you have in the past that you're like, whoa, that really affected me in a good way. Like something that was just monumental that maybe changed
go
your
ahead, I got it.
perspective on something.
Oh man.
In athletics?
In
Like,
athletics,
oh.
right? Something monumental in like some sort of athletics that has just changed me. Well, mine is probably going to be running,
I know.
right?
Actually, mine's going to be running.
I know. I think it was, you would think it was going to be the ultras that I finished, right? But really, it was my goal. When I set out for this goal to run my first marathon, I set it pretty recent. Like I wanted it to be like, okay, I got 3 months to train kind of thing like this. And,
Yeah.
I was doing those mile runs, right? And I could not get past like, so it was a struggle, the mile, 6 miles. And I remember like, I would run this road path from the place that we were living at to Huntington Beach, around over there and then loop back. And that was supposed to be my long run. And I'd go out in these mornings and I'd start this run and I'm like, I'm going to make it, because I've heard of the wall bonking and hitting the wall at mile 18. I'm like, okay, I got to get there. Man, I tell you what, like I could not get past mile like 16. 16 was just like everything would stop working. I'd just bonk out. Granted, I didn't know much about fueling and recovery and all these things that you learn with time, right? But I could not for the life of me get past 16 miles. And I would grind it out. There was times that I was taking an Uber home, right? And it would be early in the
I
morning.
believe
We
it.
had just had our kids and I'm like, I can't even walk back. I'd have to have my wife come pick me up sometimes and she'd be pissed. She's like, why are you even out here doing this? Like, you can't even move anymore. And I'm like, I don't know. This is just crazy. And then I'm thinking, like, how am I going to
Feels so
ever
good
run this
inside.
marathon, dude? But every weekend, like clockwork, I would go out there and I'd do this long run. And I finally hit 18 miles. I'm like, oh my gosh, I did 18 miles. This is crazy. Then 20 miles hit. And then it comes to the point where the marathon is a week away, and being so scared of failure publicly at that time, I was like, let me see if I can run a marathon on my own before I do one next week. So I went and I ran a marathon on my own and got in my car, no cheers, nothing, no medal. And I was like, okay, I can do it, and drove home. And the next weekend I ran a marathon again, my first official, and puked the whole way because I did not recover, but I was able to finish it. And I think that just like proved to me that I had this grit, and everything that I was, putting in, started to rewire my brain. And I think that was the moment that I realized that I was on to something. And that's my moment of athletics.
I mean, that's a really good story.
Great
I would say
story.
mine is
Stupid.
and it's really sad to say. I don't want to admit this live on camera, but mine was actually trying to run a half marathon without training. Like, there was so many lessons that I learned doing that. As far, like, one lesson I took from it was watching these older ladies like constantly pass me by, right? Like, as I'm doing it, like I would go sprint. I was like, there's no way that that she's gonna beat me. And then she was going at this slow pace, and I would sprint and then slow down, start walking because I couldn't do it anymore. And then she'd catch me
Like
and
Michael
beat me
Myers.
again. Yeah, like Michael Myers. And I don't know, I took away so many lessons from that. And then after I was done,
What were the lessons?
I was just gonna say, give us one.
I mean, basically the lesson was like, that's a story for life, right? Like, just maintain a constant speed is better than just speeding up, stopping.
The tortoise and the hare.
Yeah, that was like one of the lessons.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Be sustained in your approach to life.
right.
Don't waver. Even though it doesn't seem fast, it's still getting something.
Right. Yeah, just taking one step after. Being a competition with yourself is another thing I took. Like, I'm sure she didn't even care about me, and I'm sitting over here looking at her the whole time. Like,
remember you?
yeah, I mean, she wasn't even paying attention, and I kept
looking
looking at her, being like, "Oh, she caught me again. I'm gonna go run." There's a dog here.
My dog. She likes to
yeah.
make an appearance every now and again,
Right.
or knock over the.
Okay. Yeah, and then the way that I felt after, where I don't know, the sun just felt brighter, everything was greener. I was in pain after. That was after I was done. Was one of the craziest
runner's high.
Yeah,
right?
it was a runner's high. It was an epiphany, but unlike him, I said I don't want to go through this again.
As I would say,
and now everyone's trying to convince me to run. Yeah,
which is why you're not a drug addict like I was. Me,
Right.
I'm like, give me more of that.
Yeah. And I've scored so many goals and done things in soccer, but nothing's ever felt like trying to do that without training and pushing myself and finishing when I didn't think I could. Like, I was killing it for 5 miles, 6 miles straight, and then I don't know, whatever I ate caught up with me.
It's not what you ate.
Yeah. Whatever.
No training.
I mean, it's the no training, but my body everything decided to cramp. So I had to finish the last, 8 miles in complete pain throughout the whole thing. And I'm like, wow, that was one of the biggest accomplishments pushing myself through that.
Huge.
Still finished. That's a big win. That's a good takeaway, honestly, for both of you too. I've been thinking this whole time what I'm going to answer the question or how I'm going to answer it. I would say, you guys heard of BPN? I'm assuming yes. If you're on, So they're based in Austin.
Yeah.
And
yep.
When
Nick Bear is another veteran, and I got a lot of respect for that guy.
Yeah, he does some pretty powerful things. When I got into running in, like, I think we'll call it 2021 or whenever it was, it was like, it must have been like right when his Instagram and like YouTube was popping off.
He was blowing up. It was so good.
I caught him early. Now, if you're in Austin, like on a day-to-day basis now, like literally in a crowd of 10, you'll see 3 to 4 people wearing VPN stuff. It's pretty crazy. But back in 22, they hosted like their first community race, and it was just kind of like first, I think it was like first 275 people to sign up, got in over. And I got in really quick. And so I flew to Austin, Texas in like February of 2022. And I've talked about this on a past episode, but I got an Airbnb with like 4 or 5 other people, never met them before. We were spread out across the country and we just showed up. First time we met each other was when we were picking out what bedroom we wanted.
Oh man.
And then, like, it's your typical packet pickup. They try to make it an event too. So there's like clothing giveaway, like you're all hanging out at the BPN HQ, getting to know each other. And then I think we all flew in on like Thursday and then the race was Saturday. And so then Saturday comes around and it was like the craziest thing. They had you get on like charter buses and shuttled you out 45 minutes into like this random ranch land of Central Texas.
Oh my
And then you just ran a marathon. I did a half. It was like so new to me, but there was a marathon, half marathon. There's no spectators. There's literally just cattle on either side of you, fenced-in cattle, and yeah, a dirt road. And they sent you on your way, and no one knew each other, and there was no spectators, and so it really was kind of like just you challenging
doing it for
yourself
yourself,
the whole
Yeah.
time.
And we talk about this a lot, like the link, the connection between people and social media, right? And like, are you doing it if nobody was there to witness any of this stuff? I think that's a question you've asked me a
would
lot.
you still do
Would
it?
I still do it if nobody's there? And I think that's huge to be able to do something when no one's watching, right? And I
Yeah.
think that says like a lot about an individual's character, right? And I think that determines a good character in the world, right? Is if
Agreed.
you can maintain the same approach when nobody's watching, I mean, that's great. Have you ran any more of his races after? Like, doesn't he do one called Just One More or something like that?
He does. They do a couple now. Like they do a last man standing.
There you
They
go. It's like a last man standing race, and yeah, it's
no,
Yeah.
I haven't done one since. Honestly,
That
they've
sounds
made the entries harder to get into.
yeah,
Like now it's like a legit lottery, like every other
Yeah.
ultra. Like,
yeah,
and honestly, I would just rather like find a race that I know I'll get into, and like the training, is intentful,
sure.
and I know I'm going to be able to run it. But back to your point of like that perspective of like doing things when no one's watching, I would say most weeks I am on a run, or I don't know, just day to day, and there's something I'm doing, and like the thought crosses my head. I'm like, why am I doing this? Not
yes,
and
that is
not
very
even because
common.
I like don't want to do something, but like I think it's the coolest thing ever, especially with running.
Mhm.
That like I can just say it's because I want to. Like it's not
Yeah.
that I need to. I don't need to. I'm doing this training for a 100. Genuinely, if I don't want to run one day, I won't run. Like I'll figure out a way in the week to make up for the miles. If I don't make them up, that's okay too. Like it's a long
Yeah.
process. But ultimately, I think you should do something that like you look forward to doing. Like I love
Right.
closing my laptop with work, and first thing I do is get out the door and go run whatever it is, whether I'm training for something or not. And one other point I'll say too is when I first got into running, and I think a lot of people do this, they start running, and social media is honestly, I think, the biggest culprit. Is people start running and they're like, all right, well, I'm going to train for a sub-3 marathon, or my journey to qualify to Boston, or whatever it is. And then when you're not training for something, you're not actually running. So it goes back
Yeah.
to like, okay, are you just doing this because like you want to post your results after the race, or do you actually enjoy running? And I'd
Right.
say I felt victim to that. My first maybe 3 years or so of running, like I was only consistent when I had a race on the calendar. Now I
Yeah.
can say for the last 2 years, I haven't missed a week. I've run at least one day. Like if it's, a busy week, try to get in at least 5 or something.
Yeah.
But the whole year of 2025, I've hit 20 plus miles, closer to 25. And, that's just because I do enjoy it, and I would do it if people were watching or they weren't. So,
Yeah.
it's
No, I love
crazy
that.
stuff that social media does, but at least for
Yeah.
me,
I
I
agree.
found peace with running
So
now. I think
would it bother you if you don't finish your 100 that's coming
good
up?
Good question.
It's almost like he's another host.
Yeah, now I'm so interested in you because I know that you're an ultra runner.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. I think it's like, it's a really good question. I think it's situational. Like because I think if I were to just come and say like, no, it wouldn't bother me, then like Nick, you mentioned grit. Like I feel like the grit would be lacking. I
the
think
competitor in you.
Yeah, like I want to do it for myself to say like, oh yeah, I trained for this. But like, race day comes and like things happen. Like I could be, puking out of one end and
yeah.
out of
Yeah.
the other at the same time for 3 hours straight. Like, that's just dangerous. Like that's
Right.
Yeah.
I think this is how I'd answer that is like this whole build. If I'm happy with the build and whatever happens on race day, but if I'm happy with how I prepared for it, then I think either if I finish it or I don't, I'd be happy. If I put everything I can into the build, I think I'd be happy either way on race day.
Yeah.
Or if the reason made sense on why you stopped, maybe like literally, if you were like yours, you were sick.
I was like, dude, you already know how I was in a bad spot, man.
Yeah.
I did.
I'm sure.
So I was much like you where I just was signing up for marathon after marathon after marathon, right? Social media. I was like, okay, then I need to sign up for another marathon. That's what's keeping me running, right? So I relate to that so much. Then I started to do these ultras and I'm like, okay, let me do the ultra. All right, that, it's brutal. Let me do it again. Let me do it again. But then, as I started to train more, I'm running ultra marathons for training runs, right? Some of these things that people are doing, I'm just packing all my own stuff up. I was like, why do I need to sign up for another race? I can just go out and run 30 miles on my own, right?
Yeah, that's true.
But like, I do like that challenge. I mean, I can't go run 100 miles. I could run 100 miles on my own. And maybe logistically we might do something like that later. But, I specifically didn't sign up for any races last year, only to do this 100-mile race, Javelina 100 in October. And everything I did, I was like, I feel so good. I trained myself. I did it all on my own, right?
Yeah.
Get the flu. And as well as I was trained, like, so 62 miles and I come home and my body felt great after I'm still sick, but my muscles, everything felt great after 62 miles. I'm like, dude, I had it. I had it in me right there. And I was like, that was one goal that I just wanted to do was run 100 miles. And I waited like the whole year to do it, trained everything. And my body was ready. And I went into this dark, depressed hole. And then he's like, dude, what are you talking about? You ran 62 miles. That's the furthest you've ever ran. That's so freaking far. And I'm like, but it wasn't the goal that I set out to do. And it bothered me so much that I went.
It's more than 99
50-mile race right after that.
It's more than 99.9% of people on earth have ever ran.
But it hurt, dude. I can honestly say it hurt. It was frustrating. Looking back with time separating and, this is the anniversary of that race basically. So I'm doing another redemption. I did one other race this year. It was a 50K. And I did really well. But like, I really specifically didn't do any races this year just because I wanted to just work on one thing. Right. So I think like it was okay to have, I see a lot of people who use races as their training just to keep them up. So they're always signed up for races. Right. And they're always running 100 miles or 50 miles. I mean, I just can't afford that, dude.
Yeah. Just real quick, would you feel like the training wasn't worth it if you didn't finish?
If I didn't finish,
like, do you feel like all the training, all the work that you put in?
And if I didn't finish, and I didn't finish because I quit,
not because you quit, like, yeah, you're too tired. Like, would you then be like, dang, I wasted my time?
I mean, I'd be pretty pissed because I put in a lot of hard training days, man. But like, this is where I think now it comes. I had some really good advice because I almost fell like right into like doing, and it's nothing like you're young, dude. Like I'm older, but like I did the marathon and I was like, I want to go run 100 miles. And I was in school at the time. And one of my friends who's done a couple 100-milers is like, hey, dude, before you go out and do that, why don't you just run a couple 50-milers just to make sure you're good? And I was like, no, I think I can run 100. He's like, just run a couple 50s. Well, I
Yep.
go do my first 50 and I didn't finish that one. So I was like, okay, I think I need to sit in this spot and really figure out, can I do 50 miles and then put a couple 50 miles under my belt, because the body goes through something crazy. And he's like, now, let's go further. And so that was some good advice that I really like appreciated. And I'm glad, much like Jarrett's story of the old lady,
Yeah.
you don't got to sprint to that next goal, just,
One
ease it
step
out
after
and be patient.
another.
Right. So,
Yep.
I feel like this time around, I've been patient, right? I didn't push myself to go to the hospital after that first time. I probably could have ended up in the hospital
Yeah.
and fought through it. But I was thinking of my family at that time, and they're all sitting there. I'm like, I don't want to hate running after this. Let me just stop at 62 miles, not go to the hospital, and live to fight another day.
There's another 100.
There's another 100 out there.
I do think that's a big part of it too. Literally, just your last point. You don't want to hate it. Like,
Yeah.
I think a lot of people don't realize that, like, that's all part of it too. That there's training and there's races and there's these big goals. But kind of what I was saying a few minutes ago, like, if you don't enjoy it, then like
Yeah.
you need to take a
Then
step
what's the
back
point,
and
right?
exactly.
What do you enjoy most about running?
I've never experienced the like clarity that it gives in any other aspect of my life.
Amen to that.
Like for example, last week, I don't know, I just had a pretty crazy day with work and life, and I was like, I need to get out the door. And literally within 5 minutes, like I had an answer. Like there was something that I needed to figure out, and I like spent like 2 hours like panicking, and I was just doing dumb shit. And, like this will solve it. Well, literally, I'm not kidding. 5 minutes. I was not even less than 5 minutes. I wasn't even half a mile into the run, and I was like, "Bing, there it is." Like that was
Yeah.
why did I do what I did before I left? Um,
Mm-hmm.
it's just crazy. I don't know. Like,
Yeah.
Kobie, do
runners-
you run in the morning? Do you run in the morning or night more?
right now, both.
Okay.
When I started
I'm
running,
thinking about switching it up.
I was a morning runner. Honestly, I like evening runs better now.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was also hoping that you say you found your answer at mile 3 instead of half a mile in, because that was going to be my argument. Like, see,
Nope.
you're not running.
You only
far
need
enough.
a good mile. That's it. To get everything you need is just.
Oh man, well,
No,
go find your
really,
answers in that first
Jerry, you
mile.
just need half a mile. That's all it is.
Yeah,
Just-
yeah. That's it. Let's go down. Now I'm starting to like this interview.
Yeah, of course, right? Yeah, see, that's all I need. But I totally
As long
agree
as you're
with you, man,
enjoying
that-
it.
Yeah.
that clarity is profound, right? And I usually find that mile 6 to 12, where something just hits this stride where I'm like, I feel like alive, and I'm like, the creative juices are flowing. I'm like, I should do this for this, and I should do that. And I'm
How are you
thinking, and I'm
feeling
taking,
for
like,
miles 1 through 6?
terrible? I'm not lying, dude. I feel
That's
terrible.
amazing. You push yourself up.
Yeah,
to
like
mile
I
6.
just like, I don't feel like I'm in stride. I'm always overthinking everything. I'm like, oh, why am I breathing so weird? Oh, am I really gonna get this
Then it
pain
goes
right now?
away.
And at 6 to 12, dude, anywhere in that moment, it's like, oh man,
What
I'm
happens
locked
at
in.
mile 50?
At mile 50, I'm at mile 50, I'm like, I'm done.
Right. Yeah.
I'm done. I can go home now.
What about you, Kobie? I mean, does the clarity start to go away after you run so much? Like,
Not like
no.
not like if like run to run. There's always some point
Yeah.
of clarity, or I mean, there's days
Yeah.
too where I just don't want to run and I'm just like zoned
Yeah.
out the whole time because I need to get it over with.
And those are the
Okay.
most important ones too, I think, out of anything, are the
Mhm.
ones that you don't want to do, and that you just, most people think that runners like wake up every day like, I'm ready to run.
Right.
I'm going to go do this, right? And they're like, how the fuck is this person like this? Like, that's the other trap of social media.
Or your
right?
body just
Yeah.
built for it. It
Yeah,
seems like.
Yeah, it's like, or I mean, yeah, even then it's like, sometimes it just sucks, man. And like you have a terrible run, but it doesn't mean you hate it overall. It's just like, this was not my best run.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or honestly, too, as simple as like, it's time that you're putting into it. Like last week on Saturday, I did like 50, it was 15 and a half. And the last 5 miles, sucked. Not because I wasn't feeling good, not because my body hurt. I just was bored. Like I had music in.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah.
I don't normally listen to music when I run. That's probably the first
That's
outside
good.
run with headphones in over 2 years for me. But I really didn't want to run that day. And so I'm like, let's
Yeah.
see what the music does. Put on a little 70s rock and got me
Yeah.
through 2 hours. But yeah, that last 5 miles, I was bored. I
Yeah.
didn't want to do it. I just like wanted my snacks that I brought for myself, and that was it.
I love eating on a run.
Same.
So good.
I can't eat. That's another one of my problems is I hate eating before a run
This
or
guy
during a
watches me
run.
eat a full-on meal and then I go run.
Why
If
did you lean?
run,
Go
I was
ahead.
gonna say, if you
Sorry.
run farther, you'll probably want to eat during that run.
You think so?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, and if you run farther,
man.
you're like gonna need to run or eat beforehand. Makes it way better.
I feel like in soccer, I trained myself. You know, you don't eat, you don't do anything, you don't drink anything, and then after, like when
That's true.
when I start to eat, my body knows it's time to shut down. Like you're done.
That's
And that's
fair.
why my uncle who I ran with, was like, okay, I'm beating my record time for the 5 mile, so let's stop and walk. And then the minute that happened, everything shut down. My whole body was like, okay, we're done. We can
Body
shut down.
seized
Shut
up.
down. Yeah. But
Oh,
obviously, I
man.
wasn't trained for it. So,
It-
I have a question for him.
Mhm.
Why did you leave hockey and go to running? Like, why did you
Yeah.
choose running after?
Yeah, so with hockey, the path to college hockey, we'll say, like that was my goal, was I wanted to play college
Right.
hockey. So Michigan high school hockey is really big. It's very competitive. There's a lot of college commits that come out of high school. But then also depending on where you are, like when you were born. So when I graduated high school, I was 17, and the like youth competitive age limit is 18. So I had 1 year of like eligibility after high school to go play somewhere. So
Mhm.
it's like on a border town next to Canada, moved there, started playing hockey, was doing like pretty well. Our team wasn't great, but like myself as a player played pretty well. Got called up to like an actual Canadian team, so was playing in a better league. And then honestly just kind of screwed up my knee, and the culture with the team wasn't really great. So like the knee injury wasn't anything crazy, but it was like bruised like MCL, ACL stuff. So like could be serious if you kept doing
Playing on
stuff
it.
to it. But
Yeah.
yeah, ultimately the culture wasn't great. So I just realized like at the end of the day, even if I were to be able to play college hockey, I'm going to need a job. I'm
Yeah.
not good enough to play professional, and I don't want to.
Yeah.
So I was like, all right, so I left mid-season, started going to school. And honestly, when I first started running, it was just to get in like better shape, to lose some weight. Like now I'm 5'10", like 168 pounds or so. And when I got done playing hockey, I was 187. And
Mm.
when I lost like the lightest I've ever been since I started running was 155, which was too light. And that was
Yeah.
when I first started running.
Right.
It was like learning that balance of making sure you're eating enough and also, running.
Yeah.
But that
Exactly.
was the main reason. And then I just was like, oh, actually, this is cool because it's that competitive aspect of like ice hockey for me is still there with running. It's just not like people watching. It's just like I said, I'm doing it because I want to. And like
Right.
you can be
Compete with
competitive.
yourself.
Yeah, you can be
Right.
competitive either with yourself or you get good enough, like you go compete in a local 5K or half or whatever it is. Like
Yeah.
there's competition all over the place.
Right.
Yeah. No, it's great.
And that sport doesn't really have a time limit. I mean, it
I
does,
mean,
but
you look at some of these long distance winners right now and some of these major races, mid-30s,
Yeah.
later
that's
30s.
just the winners. But I mean, you could still
Yeah.
like be running. You could be 80 years old.
Yeah.
There's still
I mean,
some
they're
runners,
still out
right?
there. I think I saw a social media post of a guy at UTMB Mont Blanc, 70 something years old, out there just running that 107 miles or 109 miles, whatever.
Yep.
And he's like, "Oh, I'm still going."
Yeah. And
It's
that's
crazy.
awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, no,
Not gonna
that's
lie.
another way I look at it too. Is I'm 24. I started running at 20, age 20. So I've been running for I
Mhm.
guess 4 years.
Oh
But like
man,
I
you
saw
got
that.
so much time.
Yeah, I saw that early on that like the elites, like people are hitting PRs into like their mid 30s on the
Yeah.
tail end of that. But I'm like, I still got like 15 years to dial in this craft, and I'm not doing
Yeah.
it to like run anything crazy, but I'm enjoying it, and it gets to a point where it's like, oh, maybe we step this up a little bit. Like it's there because I'm gonna have that base of just figuring it out for the first few years.
I don't.
Or
I don't
stop
blame you.
and start playing soccer and
No, no,
True.
no, no, no.
and
I've done
enjoy
that
the.
too.
Oh, okay.
We
I've
will
done
play
that
soccer
too.
together, and I like
I'm
to
just
bug him on the
kidding.
field.
I'm just kidding.
I only have one clear to PR now.
I can run so fast when I'm chasing a ball for some reason. I don't feel anything, but
Yeah,
What
that track,
position do you play?
I'm a striker.
Strike. Oh, okay. So you
but
do
he doesn't
score
do much
goals.
striking when I'm defending him out
Yeah, yeah.
Uh,
He stops it. Yeah.
you did.
He
You had
picked
a.
up the I was
So
saying
you
he
had
picked
a.
it up. He came back and started playing
Yeah,
soccer
I
just
started
so
playing
he can
soccer.
stop me.
Yeah, I needed something other than running to kind of have like an active recovery day, right? I was putting too
Yeah.
many miles on my body early,
You
and
guys do
soccer
that
was
every
just a
week?
nice Sundays.
Yeah,
But
we used to.
I take 6 weeks before a race. I take off from playing
Okay.
soccer to avoid any injury, because last time I played the weekend before, I got stepped on a toenail, and on that 50, the toenail came off through the nail pen, and I was just bleeding
Brutal.
everywhere. It was yeah. So I was like, okay, I can't do that anymore.
Yeah.
That's brutal.
Yeah, man, it's great.
Well, we've talked a lot about running. I do
Mhm.
want to get back to a couple points just on your
Yeah.
podcast itself. You guys do more than just recording episodes. You have a couple products that you've been dropping in the last year or two. You guys should
Yes.
talk about that. Let's hear.
Yeah. So we got some hats, right? The hats are definitely much like having good people around you. They guide you to make good decisions, right? Jarrett has always said, if you're gonna make something, just make it for yourself. I guarantee you other people are gonna have the same issue that you're having, right? I sweat a ton. I sweat so much on I can go out for like a mile run, and I swear it looks like I just jumped into a pool. I just sweat. So I wanted to come out with like a good quality hat, that was able to absorb and sweat wick, and finally found like a great like blend to create these hats for really people who sweat a lot like myself. I knew a hat that was just going to be a hat, right? Anybody can buy a hat, right? So I wanted the
Yeah.
story to just have something along with it. But I've always had this vision of other products, and there's still a whole slew of ideas that I have for this brand that I got to be patient and bring out things one at a time. But I was working on this electrolyte mix probably for about 6 months, like just kind of just studying, like, okay, what's going on with this, right? I have a lot of GI issues when I run,
Yeah.
and a lot of cramping because I sweat so much. And I know a lot of this like GI
A
issue.
lot of the runners have that.
A lot of
problem,
runners
yeah.
have it, I was just like wondering, what am I putting in here? And as I was like, well, I need to make something that's going to work for myself, right? And I did not expect myself to find myself in the research of electrolytes and how electrolytes work for your body. But, I went down this rabbit hole, and, I come to find out how much sugar is in a lot of these electrolyte mixes, right?
Yeah.
On top of the sugar that you're putting in your electrolyte mix, we're also taking goos and gels and carb mixes, and we're basically just like towering so much sugar in one run, just from goos and electrolytes and all this stuff, right?
Don't
And
forget the nerd
And
clusters.
donuts you eat.
I-
Yeah.
exactly. I mean,
Right.
how else am I supposed to eat my nerd clusters and have too much sugar from my electrolyte mix and my goos, right? So I wanted to create a product that like allowed myself and eventually the rest of my like people who support the brand and run and use this product. I want them to be able to measure their own sugar intake. So I wanted to make sure that I, came out with a product that was basically no sugar. I mean,
Stripped out all the
yeah,
nonsense,
we
right?
we stripped out all the nonsense. I mean, it's all natural ingredients, right? So what it is my attempt to compete with Element or LMNT,
Okay.
and not to name them by name, and I'm not going to say this is them, um, but as a generalization, most electrolytes have a ton of sugar. They are using very low quality magnesium, not even food grade magnesium. And it blew my mind that they were able to do this, right? So
Yeah.
I also wanted to come out with something else that would differentiate, right? I thought about my childhood growing up in New Mexico, because I lived in New Mexico in the desert in the Southwest. I wanted to pay some kind of homage back to my roots, right? And prickly pear is big, right? Having cactus out there is big.
Delicious.
Uh, yeah, exactly. It's
I'm
so good,
seeing it
man.
everywhere now. I mean,
I
I'm
knew
seeing it
since
more
he
often.
didn't
Yeah.
know about it, right? And I'm like, dude, prickly pear, like you got to understand like how good this stuff is for you.
Yeah.
High in antioxidants, high in vitamin C. When you're training a lot, you need a good immune system, a strong immune system, because it's, compromised after each of these runs. So I knew prickly pear had these benefits, but it also has anti-inflammatory benefits, right? After long-term use, we want to make sure our joints and, everything's like reduce the inflammation, right? Help us heal a little bit better. I put, the food grade magnesium in it. Um, and the other thing that I did is I'm like, okay, I'm not going to put a bunch of sugar, but how do I sweeten it? So I use monk
Yeah.
fruit as like the natural sweetener. I wanted all my natural sweeteners in there. And I almost went a different route where I did Himalayan pink salt. You see like a lot of people like saying like, "Oh, well, we're going to use this high quality salt of like Himalayan pink salt." Well, I also didn't realize that salt has different absorption capabilities, right? So I went with
Okay.
just a classic standard sea salt, right? Um, but it has the best absorption. Like if you're using like a Himalayan pink salt or some other like less quality salt, um, your body's not going to really absorb it, and you're not going to take in the electrolytes that you have. So that's kind of what I did. And aside from that, like this product is tested by me. Like
Right. You
I
are.
use this to extreme scenarios, right? I run as far as I can. So I was working with a food scientist. We were making these blends on our own. And, obviously there's a lot of challenges that come going in an industry that you're brand new at, but I can get into those later too. But it's just a quality product that I wanted to bring to runners. But I also like I don't run ads. I'm small. I'm doing all of this on my own. Um, my overhead isn't to recoup money on advertising that I run, on big shoots, on paying a bunch of employees. It's very difficult that I am running this on my own, because I would love to have as much help as I can in a warehouse and all that stuff. But right now, it's just this vision of me running around, making the marketing material, making the blends, packaging the
Yeah.
orders,
Going around in a
going
big
around,
canopy.
yeah, in a big canopy, telling people to try this. Like I'm slinging out CDs out of the trunk of my car. It's tough,
You
dude.
forget how young he is. He doesn't know what a
Oh
CD
yeah,
is.
yeah. There
That's
was a
not
time
true,
where we
but
used to
I'm just kidding.
but yeah, like I just wanted a product that's quality, right? And I wanted to let people know that like I see them, and I didn't want, much like I said, that the industry is very intimidating, it is also very expensive.
yeah.
And I try to, be reasonable with everything that I put out. Reasonable prices, because I don't need to make huge margins. I just want a quality product. These sticks are still as much as probably the biggest brands out there, and they are able to cut their margins because they're mass producing, right? But it's
Yeah.
also like I just think it's crazy what people are doing in this industry. They're taking advantage of this running world, right? And squeezing out every nickel and dime that they can, right? And I just want something that's quality, man.
And they need it the most. The
Yeah.
runners are the ones who need it the most.
And my best
sure.
product that I have is a travel bidet.
Oh,
And the way
I've
that
seen
was
it.
birthed is because I had a very bad GI distress issue on a trail run with no toilet paper and nothing to wipe with except my own pants. And I had to carry those pants with me until I went and found a restroom. So that was the other thing, is like, I started thinking, like,
why do you guys do this?
there are so many races out there. People are just pooping in this wilderness and just burying their stuff. I'm like, why are we doing this, man? And I found from avid trail hikers, like, who do the PCT, the Appalachian Trail, right? They're like,
Yeah.
how you should properly dispose of waste on the trail. You were technically supposed to poop in the hole, bury it, wipe, put that in a Ziploc bag, and carry it with you until you get to a proper disposal area. Hell no, am I carrying some poop wipes with me for 20 miles until I can go dispose of it properly. I was like, that's disgusting, man. So I was like, well, there's got to be a better way, right? So I figured, if I'm going to wipe, it might as well be a clean wipe, and then I'll carry that with me. So I'm also thinking of the sustainability of the sport. That one's a little bit harder to convince people to use, but I hope that at some point it does catch on and people understand that I am trying to look out for the sustainability of the
I think it's
sport.
going to catch on in like Japan or something.
Yeah,
where
maybe, yeah.
The bidet's a bigger
I mean,
thing.
it's not until you
True.
use it and then you realize, like, oh my gosh, this is pretty good.
Right.
And
Do
I've
you,
never gone back.
Do you carry it with you on your races and stuff
Carry it
now?
with me, man, dude. It
That's
breaks
unreal.
down to the size of a hockey puck. And I've heard people say, like, I have mandatory gear, I can't carry all this stuff with me. Bro, I'm keeping it in there. It's just never gonna leave without me. Now, since I've been using the Ostrich Salt, my gut stress has gone down a lot. Now that I'm more mindful of the sugar intake that I'm taking,
The fried chicken you eat before.
I eat terrible before I do some.
No, you've been doing a lot better though.
I try to be a little better, but all of this is just like, it's something that I had a problem with in my running world and my running experience, and I've learned how to solve the problem, and I hope to share that knowledge with other people. And I just want to give them quality product at not a crazy price, man. I mean, I don't
Yeah.
need to nickel and dime everybody. I don't need to squeeze. I'm not in this to to make it a multi-million-dollar brand. I just want to provide all of my running community with solid support of quality products.
Yeah, no, that's great. I got to get myself some ostrich gear.
I'm going to make sure, trust me, at the end of this, I everybody I'm on the podcast with, I always make sure I send them a little care package. You're going to have a travel bidet. You're going to have some ostrich salt. You're going to have some ostrich hats. I'll give you the full treatment.
I wonder if the owner of
That's
these
unreal.
brands are even runners at all. Like they just, or did they just notice an opportunity?
And I noticed that some are runners, right?
Okay.
But they really
But the big
license their
ones?
name out with certain things, right?
Yeah.
That's why, BPN, he lived that life.
Yeah.
Nick Bear, veteran, and I followed a lot of his stuff. He lived that life, right? And he lives that life currently, running crazy, doing stuff and bringing quality products. So, I think it's just a great thing. Again, his stuff can be a little bit overwhelming and intimidating. I want to be a little bit more open to the people who run a 5K at a 13-minute mile pace and say, you're welcome here.
sure.
It's the action of running that I applaud. It's the getting out of your comfort zone that I applaud. Win a race if you want to win a race. I support. We've had Olympic level athletes on our show, and I reach out to them for feedback on this stuff. I'm tweaking constantly with all of this stuff to make sure that I can have the best product.
Where
Made for runners by a runner.
Yeah, made for runners by a runner. A guy who really tries it all. I'm the test subject on all of this stuff, guys.
if something goes wrong, it's happening to you.
You'll see it.
Right.
And I'm like, well, that didn't work.
Well, where do you guys think the show's gonna go? Like the brand itself. Like, you want to keep the podcast, use that to kind of grow what you're trying to do, and just build some products and try to build the community.
I mean, my goal is to stop ultra running.
He's on a mission.
I'm on a mission to get everybody to run a marathon or under.
Yeah,
and give this whole thing up.
He's trying to tell them that they can find their answers within a mile. And
no, I'll give you a marathon.
You'll give us a marathon?
Yeah,
Thank
yeah.
you very much.
After that,
I think that's a crazy enough distance anyway.
But
As
what's your
Nick
mission?
as Nick is out with his canopy tent, Jared is
I'm gonna go. I'm gonna be there.
Stop Ultra now.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Exactly.
No, where I see, there has been this growth We've sat after so many of these episodes, and we've just been blown away with some of these people that we talked to, that
seriously.
I could never have another listener again. But I enjoy recording this because it's just something about having these conversations with these runners is so inspiring. Hearing everybody's story. Everybody has something insightful to say, an experience
Sure.
that they had. You can learn so much from them. So to me, this show just continues to find as many stories as we can. And I think there's always stories being written every day. I want to continue to meet these people, find these people, show their stories to the world. I mean, like, you have this show called Ordinary Voices, but every ordinary voice is so extraordinary in its
Right.
own way.
Yeah.
And it's like, people don't realize, like, there are amazing individuals out there that are doing incredible things with, like, pushing through so much stuff that most people would just give up on. And most people are really experiencing depression,
We had one guest that was
diagnosis.
running with a
Yeah, with a
colostomy.
colostomy bag. She's out
runs
there,
a
and she has, was 7 kids,
Yeah.
and she still runs 100-milers. People
Crazy.
getting diagnoses that should be a life changer and be like, I'm just going to curl up and let this thing ride out. No, they push even further, man. Like, they are such a representation of what ostrich running is, and life, and, like, being in these scary moments, and
People who are
just,
running ultras and they weigh 300 pounds or
yeah,
something.
dude, it's crazy.
incredible.
Like, I don't look like an ultra, but I'm an ultra athlete. Like, this is what it's all about, man. And that's what I see this podcast being, and continuing to grow. I have a dream sheet of people that I would love to talk to.
Right.
But to me, I'd be very careful as far as, like, having these big names on, because
You don't want to block
I
out
don't
the
wanna,
ordinary
yeah,
voices.
the ordinary voices,
yeah, I
exactly,
mean,
man, that are
'cause
so
Bingo.
incredible.
On a serious note, I get so much out of this podcast, and, like, I'm able to even push myself through so many more things just listening to their stories
Yeah.
and seeing that people are doing bigger things than
Yeah.
than I'm
So as
doing.
we continue this, the show will continue on. We will continue to interview stories, and in time, like, I will continue to show people the products that I've thought of in my mind and what works for me. And hopefully, as they become fans of the show, they become fans of the brand, and then we just support this community, to, like, what we're all about, and just lifting up everybody within this space.
Yeah, no, I think that's awesome. That's a big thing of what I resonate with my podcast as well.
Yeah.
The whole ideology behind Ordinary Voices is pretty much what you hit on. It's like, what is ordinary? People are just people, and everyone's just doing something. And, like, no matter what it is, there's some aspect of everybody's life that's, like, worth talking about, So I think it's,
Right.
Exactly.
like, I'm super proud that it's like, I came up with this idea, and literally 5 days later, I'm like, all right, I'm doing it. Like, all I need to do is get people on a camera. And how hard is it to get
Yeah.
people to talk
Yeah,
about
that's awesome.
I
themselves?
think it's great what you're doing, man. Yeah.
Right.
And,
Yeah.
much like training for an ultra, right? You just keep going, and you learn as we go through this, and it's a learning experience for us. Sometimes it gets tiring, but in the end, we enjoy it. And I think being creative is our aspect about it that we enjoy.
Yeah, I love that. Well, I've got one more thing for you guys. I would love to
Okay.
hear, you guys have done, how many episodes have you guys recorded?
We're on episode 27 now.
27.
Yeah, so it's been
Half a year.
half a year of doing this. Yeah, episode
Okay.
27.
The question is, I guess, no, we'll go two questions. What's been your favorite episode, if you can say, if you have one? And then the second thing is, I mean, I think we've touched on it quite a bit, but just doing this whole podcast and getting to talk to so many different people, what's, like, the biggest takeaway that you guys have that, like, you just apply to your everyday life? This podcast has had to have changed something that you did day to day.
Yeah. Um.
Your favorite episodes.
Well, I'll start with the latter question, right? What I've learned from it is that, the human body is resilient. The mind is very strong. It's stronger than we can ever imagine. Just sheer will can power anybody through a lot of different challenges, right? So what I've learned is that, we're not, alone in our experience of life. We all get the good, the bad, the ugly with it. It's how you respond to those moments, those challenging moments, right? And I think, doing this show has really shown me that it can happen as long as you keep putting one foot in front of the next, and you have that sure will to keep moving forward and finding the joy in whatever it is that you're trying to accomplish or overcome, and the joy that is life, right?
Yeah.
Just so grateful for the life that I've been given, regardless of what I've been through. I'm just grateful for every moment that I have here. And I think that's what has really shown me, throughout these episodes that we've done. If I have a favorite episode, I love them all. This is to anybody who's been on our show. I absolutely love every last one of you and your stories that I've talked to. My gosh, I think the one that hit me the most, was probably Apache Joe.
Really?
Apache Joe
That was a deep one.
is Joe Proctor. This man is something about him just makes you feel alive. And his story is that of a mental health struggle, um, you know, using Western medicine as, like what he's been taught to do, and finally, like, finding his own way, his own path of healing. He's very connected to the Native American community out in Arizona. I think his sheer will and just overall determination, to power him through what he's powered through on his own is incredible. But it's just something about that man has this vibe. Like when we had that conversation, I
Yeah.
was sweating. Like it was just like something inside him like fires you up. That guy will fire anybody up.
Right. That's so
He's
true.
like a guy
That's
that you
sweet.
would want out there, leading you to battle, and probably just feeling, let's go, let's do this. Like he's just an intense guy. But I love everybody that's been on my show. They've all given me one nugget that has stuck with me for life, but that's
Sure.
mine.
Cool.
This might sound corny, but and I'll just go real quick. My favorite my favorite interview is actually Nick. Interviewing
Really?
and sitting next to this guy every time and just exploring his story. And there's always a new level. There's something I learn new about him every single time that I talk to him. And the things that he's pushed himself through to get to where he is, starting this brand, I would say.
Which is hard to
Yeah,
do after
I-
15 years of friendship, right?
Yeah,
Something
yeah.
new
Yeah.
each time.
Yeah. So I would say, yeah, that's my favorite. And I kind of touched on it earlier, but just watching what they're able to push themselves through.
Yeah.
And what they are able to overcome.
Yeah.
Pushes me more. So now I'm like at 2 miles.
Well, it's
Every once
actually,
in a-
I've noticed, and you say this, but like what I've noticed in you is doing this show, this man has really come more out of his shell
Yeah, that's
to
true.
try new things,
That's
right?
true.
And I think that's been the biggest growth that I've seen within him.
I'm taking ice baths now because of
Cold
these
plunges.
guys. Like, yeah, cold plunges. Like,
Yeah.
I'm like, if they could do it, I carry that with me everywhere I go. If they could do it, then why am I saying no to this?
Exactly.
Right. If Kobie's out here pushing himself, he did just a mile, and now look at him. He's running 40. Really? I'm going to complain about going up and doing something that makes me feel uncomfortable? No. Yeah, so they're rubbing off on me. No matter how much I try to stop them, they're
You can't fight it.
yeah.
Nah, you can't, especially when you're willingly showing up to this and everyone's talking
Yeah.
about him.
Who said he's willingly showing up for this?
True.
Yeah, I'm starting to willingly. At first I didn't, but now I'm like, wait, who are we
True.
interviewing? What's gonna happen?
No, I'm
That's
just.
a good
I wanna-
point.
He's a big help.
Yeah.
Sounded like for
I'm like-
this episode, it was Thursday. Get here.
Yeah. Now I'm designing my own hat. I'm like, wait a minute, maybe I should design my own hat. Nick, actually when I run, you could change this up a little bit. Maybe we come out with a sweat thing.
Yep.
Like I'm starting to put in my own input now.
Yeah,
That's
look
cool.
at that. See, that's how I
Yeah.
reel him into it.
Mm-hmm.
Well, yeah, I think what you guys are doing is refreshing, which I hope
Oh,
that's good
thank
to
you.
hear. Like it's
Yes, that is.
like there's just so much stuff on social media now where it's just almost too extreme for me. Like I moved to Austin
Yeah.
because I wanted to just throw myself into this like fitness community and running community, and
Yeah.
I'm a year and a half in, and like some of it's too extreme. Like
Wow.
like
Yeah.
yeah, like
That's
you
so
guys,
awesome, man.
yeah, you guys are refreshing. It's a different
Oh, thank you.
perspective on the whole, running, but just social media. It's cool to see. So
Yeah, I appreciate that.
Well, I
Yeah,
mean,
to us, it's
we have to set up another interview because I want to interview
yeah.
him even more.
Yeah, we
I
need to
have so
have a
many more
future
questions about
collaboration.
your story.
Yes.
Throwing yourself into a brand new
Yeah,
city at that
that's
age.
wild.
I mean, at that age, that's amazing to
Yeah.
like just say, "Hey, I'm going to go out here."
Yeah.
Yeah.
we
And I think we
definitely
live
got to get on the
in
calendar.
yeah,
Yeah.
definitely. We're gonna have another one. And like to your point of the fitness community, this brand lives in a space of realness and inclusion. And I think that's the most important thing that I hope your listeners take away from it is Ostrich Running just wants you to be part of the flock, man. We have some commercials that we're gonna do that we're gonna, and when I say commercials, we're not gonna pay for advertising, but we use our creative aspect of it. But I think it's gonna, nail it on the head of what we are as this brand. Like, our listeners, our supporters are our flock. And, we really look out for everybody like that. And I think we just want to create a space where you feel welcome.
And you don't have to be a runner.
Yeah.
Mhm.
You can think about running. That's cool. You still like the hat. It's nice. It's
Yeah,
cool.
yeah.
It's stylish. You could still use the travel bidet if you're an avid hiker. Hike
True.
scared. I don't care what you do.
True, that's a
You could just
Christmas
take away a
present.
lesson from listening to the
Yeah,
show.
exactly.
Well, sweet guys. Yeah, I'm honored to have gotten to sit down with you guys, and I'm looking forward to seeing those commercials and seeing
Yeah,
everything
man.
you guys are doing, and looking forward to the next conversation.
Yeah, well,
All right.
thank you for spending your time to talk with us. We feel honored and grateful to like sit down with you. And I want to just say I love what you do. Like I see all these things that you're doing on social media with the podcast, and I look at them like, oh my gosh, that's so smart. That is such a great idea. I love how you're growing your show, and I might need to be hitting you up for some tips too.
Appreciate
This is a
that.
whole new space
Yeah,
for
yeah,
us, but I
yeah.
think you're out there doing something great. And I think you have a great format, a great structure. And I wish you the best of luck. And you know that we're always here for you if you ever need anything in the meantime.
Yeah, I appreciate that, gentlemen.
All right.
All right.
Yeah, have a great night.
Oh, I also like at the end of every one of my shows, I like to say thank you to everybody out there for supporting us through messages.
Yes.
We ask that you continue. If you're listening to this on the
It means
Ostrich Running
so much.
Podcast, please go over to the Ordinary Voices podcast, follow it, like it, review it, listen to it, because there's some great stories on there that I think, a lot of you would resonate with. There's some runners, athletes out there, people who are amazing individuals. I think any of our listeners listening, please go over there and listen to that show. So thank you.